Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news. The latest update coming out of Berea is definitely stirring the pot, especially when it comes to the Browns' quarterback situation. As we all know, the Browns have been battling some significant injuries at the quarterback position, and this week is no different. It's a big blow that Deshaun Watson, after all the rehab and hope for a quick return, will not be designated to come back from the reserve, physically unable to perform list this week. This news was confirmed by a trusted league source, and it's a major development for Cleveland's offense moving forward. Fans have been eagerly awaiting Watson's return, especially after his surgery in January to repair that re-ruptured Achilles. But it looks like the Browns are taking a cautious approach, which makes a lot of sense given the severity of his injury and the history of Achilles injuries in football. Without Watson, the Browns are leaning heavily on their backup plans, which means we're going to see some new faces under center this Sunday against the Raiders in Las Vegas. The starting quarterback for this game is expected to be Shedeur Sanders, who's been with the team for a while, but hasn't had many opportunities to show what he can do in live game action. Sanders, who was dealing with some tough circumstances last week when his house was broken into during the Browns' 23-16 loss to the Ravens, will be stepping into a pretty big spot. He's set to become the 42nd quarterback to start for the Browns since 1999, which just shows you how many times we've had to shuffle the deck at that position. Now, Sanders will be starting in his first real shot to prove himself in the NFL, and it's not easy stepping in under these circumstances. He's currently on the practice squad but will be elevated for the game, and he's got some experience as QB2, having filled in during the Week 8 loss to the Patriots. In that game, Sanders went 4 of 16 for 47 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception, finishing with a 13.5 rating. It's clear he's still getting comfortable, especially considering he hasn't had many first-team reps in practice. But he's got the tools and the heart that Browns fans love. This is a kid who's going to give it his all. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel, who replaced Watson in the first half of last week's game after suffering a concussion, remains in the concussion protocol. During that game, Gabriel went 7 of 10 for 68 yards with no turnovers, and that's solid 88 quarterback rating. But unfortunately, he's not expected to clear the concussion protocol in time for this Sunday's game, which is why Sanders gets the nod. It's a huge opportunity for him to step up and show the Browns coaching staff, and us, the kind of resilience and grit he can bring to the field. Cleveland fans are known for rallying behind their players, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sanders rises to the challenge. Deshaun Watson's situation is a little more complex. After undergoing surgery to fix his Achilles, he's been making steady progress but hasn't been cleared to practice with the team yet. The Browns are being very cautious, which is the smart move given how serious his injury was, and the fact that Achilles injuries are notoriously tricky for athletes to come back from. The team has the option to open Watson's 21-day practice window at any point, but it's looking more and more like they'll wait until the offseason to bring him back into full practice mode. This cautious approach is rooted in ensuring Watson's long-term health and performance, especially since he's under contract through 2026, and the Browns want him at his best for the future. Looking at the bigger picture, this injury situation highlights just how much depth the Browns are trying to develop at quarterback. We've seen flashes of potential from Sanders, and Bailey Zappe, who's been on the practice squad, will also be elevated to serve as the backup. Zappe has known the team from his time on the practice squad and was the backup during the Week 8 game. He's shown he can step in if needed, and Cleveland's coaching staff clearly trusts his abilities to some extent. But make no mistake, this week is all about Sanders, and it's a critical moment for his NFL career. You can imagine the pressure he's feeling, especially with the spotlight on him. But this is also a chance for him to shine, to show Browns Nation that he can handle the big stage. With the Raiders' defense being pretty aggressive, Sanders will need to stay calm, make smart decisions, and seize every opportunity to move the ball downfield. It's a tall order, but Browns fans are no strangers to rallying behind young quarterbacks thrown into the fire. We've seen it before, and we know how resilient our team can be when the chips are down. The coaching staff, led by Kevin Stefanski, has emphasized that they're taking every precaution with Watson's recovery, and right now, they're focused on the present. They want to give Sanders the best shot to succeed, knowing that even if he's still learning, his effort and grit can make a difference. The Browns' season is still very much alive, and this week's game against the Raiders could be a defining moment for our young quarterback. It's a test of nerve, skill, and heart, and Browns fans will be watching every play with bated breath. Looking ahead, the Browns' quarterback situation might be a bit uncertain, but one thing is clear. The team is committed to protecting their star player, Watson, and ensuring that when he does return, he's fully ready to lead us back to playoff contention. This organization has a long-term plan, and they're not rushing Watson back just to squeeze out a few wins. They understand that rushing an Achilles comeback can be risky, especially given the history of similar injuries in the NFL. So fans can rest assured that management is doing everything by the book, prioritizing Watson's health and the team's future. Meanwhile, the rest of the Browns' roster continues to fight and grind. Players like Nick Chubb and the defense have been stepping up, showing that Cleveland is still a tough team to beat, even with some key injuries at quarterback. This upcoming game will be a real test, but it's also an opportunity for Browns fans to show their support for Sanders and the entire team. We know that Cleveland is a city with a football heart that never stops beating, and no matter who's under center, we're behind our guys all the way. As we look toward the rest of the season, the Browns' focus remains clear. Stay healthy, keep grinding, and get Watson back when he's truly ready. The AFC North is tight this year, with every game counting, and our division rivals are watching closely, trying to capitalize on Cleveland's injury woes. But if there's one thing Browns fans know, it's that resilience runs deep in this team's DNA. We've been through tough seasons before, and every challenge only makes us stronger. This week's game in Vegas might not be the ideal scenario, but it's an opportunity for our young quarterbacks to step up and earn their spot in Cleveland lore. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. This team is always evolving, and every injury or setback is just another chapter in our story of perseverance and grit. We're in this together, and I know that with your passion and support, the Browns will find a way to come out stronger on the other side. Let's keep the faith, stay loud, and keep believing, because Cleveland Browns football is all about resilience, heart, and never giving up.